All right, happy short week. I'm just going to jump right into our homework. And this says to label if each is a function, yes or no. So things that we want to consider, inputs and outputs, if these are x values and y values, or inputs and outputs. So every input can only match one output. So we have 5 going to 0, 2 going to 4, and 1 going to 0. So that one is okay. With our graphs, we're going to want to consider the vertical line test right here. This is the vertical line test. So since this line right here, it's going to pass both of these. If the vertical line passes through our graph at more than one point, this graph right here, this fails, meaning it is not a function. So something you want to consider, these arrows mean that they are continuing in an upward direction, but it is not a straight line. So if I was to draw a line, this would only pass one intersection. With all of these, you'll want to check your vertical line test, and make sure that your vertical line test, that you take your vertical line all the way across. Check each point on the graph. So again, here's our x values and our y values. That's a -1, and that's also a -1. So wanting to consider each of those. So if we have my vertical line test here, I'm going to want to make sure I try it all the way across to see if it's a function or not. What is the equation of this line? So that means we have a linear equation, which is written in the form of y equals mx plus b. This is a non-proportional because it doesn't go through the origin. So since it misses right here, we know that it's non-proportional. So we're going to want to start by identifying this is our slope, and this right here is our y-intercept, meaning where our graph intercepts the y-axis. So we have our y-axis right here. I'll make it a little smaller. Our y-axis right here. And then we have our y-intercept there from our graph. So next, you'll want to find a pretty point. So we have a pretty point here, and that will allow us to, so we have m equals and b equals. We have our b, which is a +3. And then we have a, which is another word for rise over run. We'll have a rise of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, plus 8. And we have a -1, because this overall graph is negative. And like I've said in class, like after you write the y equals, if you notice that it's a negative graph, you can go ahead and write that negative there, so you don't forget it. And then you'll want to put in your slope, which is 8 over 1, and then making sure that it's negative overall. Graph this equation. So again, this number right here is our y-intercept, and this number right here is our slope. So my rise is -3, and my run is 5. So starting by plotting the y-intercept, we'll go there. And then we'll want to rise 3. But since I can't go up 3, but I can go down 3. 1, 2, 3. That's my -3. And then I'm going to go plus 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, of course, I could have gone up and to the left, and that would have also been the same way to graph it. And then you'll want to draw your line through it like that. Okay, we have American Wireless charges $8 per month for service plus 15 cents per text message. Write a linear equation to represent this situation. And what you're going to want to do, this is for 1 month. So looking for the charges for 1 month. So we have $8 per month, but if we're only looking, if only 1 month, then we will, this will end up being a constant. And our variable, so it's confusing because this right here says per, but this one also says per. But if we're only looking at 1 month, then this 15 cents is the thing that's going to vary based on the amount of texts. So this right here is going to be our variable because it has because this has the mx. This right here is our variable. So the b is going to be our constant. So if I don't send any texts per month, I'm still going to have to pay that $8. But then for each text that I send, I'm going to have to pay that 15 cents. So then, as I substitute them in, I can substitute both of those numbers in, mx, and then plus b. All right, this says Anne has 15 times as many ribbons as Sam. Leslie has 1/3 as many ribbons as Anne. Which of the following equations could represent the relationship between the number of ribbons y that Leslie has and the number of ribbons x that Sam has? Okay, this is a lot of words, so our end question is, which of the following equations could represent a relationship between the number of ribbons that Leslie has and the number of ribbons that Sam has? So we want Leslie and Sam so if Anne has 15 times as many ribbons as Sam, Leslie has 1/3 as many ribbons as Anne. So if Sam had if Sam had 1 ribbon, Leslie would have 15. And then it says Leslie has 1/3 as many ribbons as Anne. Oh, sorry, I wrote this wrong. And not Leslie, sorry. This would be Anne would have 15 ribbons. So, and then Leslie, if she has 1/3 as many as Anne, so 1/3 of 15, 1/3 of Anne would equal 5, because 5 times 3 is 15. So, if we're looking at a relationship between Anne and Sam. So we're wanting to look at these two. If we have 5, Leslie has 1/3. So this Y is representing Leslie's. And then the X is the amount that Sam has. So if you want to go ahead and look at the amount that I put here, and then Leslie's ribbons will be to get from 1 to 5. So Leslie, how do I get from Leslie to Sam? All right, this says write a linear equation to represent the situation of y is 5 less than twice the value of x. All right, so a linear equation, again, is going to be y equals mx plus b, or y equals kx. So this is for proportional, and this is non-proportional. So we have the value of y equals 5 less than twice the value of x. So we have twice the value of x, we're going to have a 2x, and then we're going to have 5 less than that. So, and then we have so substituting those into your equation. All right, this says plot these points. Make sure to write the coordinate pair by the point. So 0, -2, we'll start at the origin and go, because this is my x and this is my y. So 0, -2, and then it says to write the coordinate pair by it. -1, 2, so -1, 2, x, and then -5, y. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to erase that. -2, -5, and so forth. Okay, this says write an equation to represent the relationship between x and y shown in the table. All right, so first we can use our slope formula, m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 to find our slope. So if I did this as x1, y1, x2, y2, we can find our slope. So y2 is going to be 12 minus 6 over 3 minus 1. So that will equal, as we simplify, 12 minus 6 is 6. 3 minus 1 is 2, which simplifies to 3 over 1, or 3. So we know that our slope, so our m equals 3. So in order to find our b, we're going to learn on our calculators how to put in lists. But if you don't have a list, if you don't have a calculator and you do have a graph, I'm just going to show you a quick way to find that with this graph right here. So since we don't only have 6, I'm going to change the scale of these: 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. I'm going to keep this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to plot these points. So 1, 6, I'm going to go 1 up 6, and then I'm going to go 3, 12, 1, 2, 3 up 12, and then I can find. So we've already found the slope. So we know that our slope is 3 over 1. So if I want to go up 3, I could go up 1, 2, 3 over 1, and that would be my point here. So here I could also I realize you can't see. But here on this point right here, I can go down 3. So if I go down this way, remember this is by 2s. This is by 2s. So if I were to go down 1, 2, 3, and then I have to go 1 this way to find my run, this is going to be 3. So that shows you my y-intercept right there. So my y equals y-intercept, or b. So using this information right here, we can substitute that in down here. And then you have your b, which is up there on the graph, and then you write it into your equation, y equals mx plus b. This one says write an equation to represent this set of ordered pairs. So ordered pairs meaning this is my x and my y, x and y, x and y, x and y. So again, we can use our slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And we can pick any 2 coordinates. I'm going to choose these 2 to find my slope. So we have y2, x2, y1, x1. Draw my line, subtraction sign. y2 is 5, y1 is 0, x2 is 0, and x1 is a negative 2. So 5 minus 0 equals 5. 0 minus a negative 2, so it's going to be 0 plus 2. So we have a slope right here. This equals m. So we have 5 halves here. And then our b, which is our y-intercept, b, remember this one right here. If I were to graph this on a chart, if I had over 0, up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this right here would be on my y-axis. So we already know that my y-intercept is going to be b. And then write your equation from there, y equals mx plus b, using those numbers. All right, here is our star bonus question. So it says a bottle contains 30 fluid ounces of orange juice and 15 ounces of pineapple juice. Which graph has a slope to best represent the ratio of orange juice to pineapple juice in the bottle? So if you think about it, a bottle, so total there is 48 ounces in a bottle. So if you want to look at, I'm just going to draw a bottle of orange juice. So we have 30 is going to be OJ, and 18 is going to be pineapple juice. So we're looking for a ratio of OJ to PJ. So OJ is going to be 30, and PJ, pineapple juice, is going to be 18. And then if you simplify that, we can simplify that to 5 over 3. So, again, this is a proportional because they all start at the origin. So we're going to want to look for the graph that has a slope or a rise of 5 and a run of 3. And looking that these all go by 4, and these go by 2. So being aware of the, excuse me, watch the intervals. All right. So again, it says an oil contractor drills a shaft 7 meters deep into the ground every 2 hours. 7 meters deep into the ground every 2 hours. Which graph has a slope that best represents this rate? So we're going deeper into the ground, so we're probably going to have a negative slope. So we can already eliminate J because this is a 0 slope, and that would just be incorrect because we're going deeper, 7 meters deeper every 2 hours. So this one's a little simpler than the other one. We have our time, we have our hours on the X, and then we have our depth on the Y. So you can go through and find at 2 hours, which one is at 7 meters. So the intervals on these, like this is going by 5s, this is going by 10s, and this is going by 17.5. And this one's going by 1s. So you're going to want to make sure you're going to want to go where 2 hours. So at 2 hours, these ones all go by 2s. And then where this one will hit 7 on at 2 hours. So going up, which one hits 7? So at 2 hours, it should be -7 meters in the ground. So hopefully that helps. I know this one was a little confusing, but hopefully that helped you.